So the initial idea for Motivote came about, I think, really in the wake of the 2016 election, when all of us were really, more than anything, disheartened at the low engagement among young voters.
We recognize this huge problem that young people just don't turn out to vote in US elections the same way that other people do. For instance, in local elections, the median age of voters is generally 57, or in other terms, 1 in 7 young people vote. What we want to do with this project with Motivote is change that.
So we spent a lot of time kind of getting a sense of what's out there, and sort of at the same time we started toying with the idea of like, well, how can we incorporate behavioral science sort of into this space, and what steps can you take today to help hold yourself accountable for things that you want to do in the future, like voting, that might seem like a little annoying, you know, when the day actually gets there.
And we came together when we were trying to brainstorm ideas for a Capstone project, really around the goal of boosting voter turnout, which we believe in turn makes for a healthier democracy, which is a lofty goal, but I think one that we can measurably tackle in this.
Imagine what it looks like when politicians and candidates are actually accountable to the full spectrum of the electorate, not just a sort of aging, graying electorate.
I think having access to some of the kind of entrepreneurial communities here at NYU has been really helpful, both through the Leslie E-Lab. So we had gone to them just for some general coaching, but also did their J-term sprint over January, which was super helpful. 2 weeks where we really got to dive into customer discovery and kind of learning some of the frameworks we were less familiar with as kind of entrepreneurial and not necessarily social impact. And then also through Stern, we did the 300K challenge there, and I think that was a really useful resource because it pushed us to think about this in a way that we wouldn't have necessarily thought about it just as a capstone project, really leaning into, okay, let's do this like we're actually going to launch something.
We're really spending the time in the next month validating our hypothesis. And once we graduate, I think we are excited about the prospect of taking the show on the road. So potentially applying to summer accelerators or launch pads at NYU or elsewhere to try to get some more funding, coaching, and mentorship. But the real goal is to have a product and a platform live up and running by the early fall, so like September 2018, so that we can actually use this and empower people to use this for the midterm elections.
Where I would have never found myself otherwise is getting to be creating a social venture and kind of be learning about this space by actually doing it. In our social impact track, I've taken a number of courses on social enterprise and innovation, but to actually be in it and creating it is something totally different.